Hi, welcome back to Big Man Football. We're going to have a look at the top 5 all-time best signings for Manchester United by Alex Ferguson. Now, it's quite surprising when you looked at the list of signings he'd made over the years. And to be honest, it'd be hard to put a top 5 flops together out of the list. There really were some big names. Now, I've tried to put a criteria together for my top 5. So there had to be, Alex Ferguson's a Scotsman, I'm a Yorkshireman, so we like value for money. So there had to be value for money. Now, that's not necessarily they were the cheapest to buy, but there had to be a good, generally long-standing servant for the club. They were either bought for a fair price or they were sold on at the end, but primarily they had to produce the goods while they were playing for Manchester United. Now, there's a few on the list that didn't get there. We'll just run through some of them so you can see the quality of the 5 that I've come up with. I'll do them in date order. Brian McClair in 1987, £850,000 he was signed for. Many years of terrific midfield play. Mark Hughes, now a manager in the Premiership, 1.8 million in 1988. Gary Pallister, don't really see much of Gary Pallister these days, don't know where he's at, don't know if he's still in the game, you don't see him on TV. He was signed for 2.3 million in 1989, and again a terrific centre-back, long-standing servant of Man United. Peter Schmeichel, 500,000 in 1991, what a bargain for a keeper like that. Many years, many clean sheets, terrific signing. Eric Cantona, obviously, I think everybody knows Eric Cantona. He was a bit of a colourful character, wasn't he? Sort of came from Leeds. Everyone was surprised at how he managed to get Eric Cantona. I think there's a few stories to tell of why he left Leeds, but we won't go into that today. He was signed for 1.2 million in 1992. And then also back in 1993 was Roy Keane for 3.7 million. Now, I don't think Roy's going to be one of my 3 viewers to this video, but if you are Roy, I'm really sorry. He was a mean dude, wasn't he, on the pitch? But Roy, if you're watching, you'd definitely be in my top 10. So anyway, before we get going on the top 5, just have a quick drink. In the top 5, they're going to be in no order. I'll try and do them in date order of when they were signed. Generally, they weren't players that caused Alex Ferguson trouble. However, there is one player in there that, he did have a few off-field antics. So we'll get to him shortly anyway. Okay, so number 5 was Rio Ferdinand, signed from Leeds back in 2002, I think it was, for £27 million. So quite a lot of money back then. He played from 02-03 season to 03-14, so a long-standing servant. 349 Premiership appearances, 10 goals. We're not really looking at his goals, are we? He's a defender. So he was involved in those 349 matches. He had 208 wins in those, and he had 45 losses. But really impressively, he had 131 clean sheets. Okay, at number 4, we've got Cristiano Ronaldo. He was signed for 12.3 million from Sporting Lisbon in 2003. Now, it sounds a lot of money. We all know what he was sold for. I think it was 80 million to Real Madrid in 2009. So terrific value. But just to put that signing on figure into context, so 12.3 million in 2003. Luis Saha was signed for 12.8 million from Fulham in 2004. So you can see what great value he was. In the Premier League, he had 196 appearances, 84 goals, so nearly a 1 in 2 ratio there. 132 wins, 28 losses. And he's one, well, he still is, he's one of those players that can score with either foot and with his head. There's so many players these days that still are very much left or right footed, don't score with the head. So he's a real handful for whoever he's playing. So terrific signing there. Okay, at number 3, we've got Wayne Rooney, signed for 25.6 million from Everton in 2004. He played from the 04-05 season to the 2016-2017 season. Now, he's one of those players that he probably caused Alex Ferguson a little bit of trouble off the field, and I was umming and ahhing whether to put him into the list because of that. I mean, I must stress it's all alleged, but you know, we all know he played around a little bit off the field. He wasn't too fussy either off the field, whether it be a young pneumatic model or allegedly grandmas. So you know, each to their own, I suppose. But he did cause Alex Ferguson some issues. I've put him in because of the number of years he was at the club, the amount of appearances and the goals he contributed to the club in some important years. So we're getting some figures. He appeared in the Premier League 413 times, 183 goals. So very similar goal scoring ratio to Ronaldo. Not quite 1 in 2, but not far off. Involved in 250 wins, 64 losses. And he again was one of those strikers that had a good mix of left foot, right foot, and the head. So a little bit naughty on the pitch as well. Sorry, Wayne. 102 yellow cards in that period. Now, to again give you some comparison there, Ronaldo only actually had 27 yellow cards. Now, number 3. No, we're at number 2, aren't we? Again, I must stress these are in date order, so I'm not trying to, it's hard when you've got attackers and defenders in there to sort of try and grade them 1 to 5. So one I'd forgotten about, to be honest, at number 2 is Nemanja Vidic, centre half, signed for 7 million from Spartak Moscow in 2005. Now, I don't know if you remember him. He really was an aggressive defender, and he's one of those that had that look in his eye, and you can imagine some centre forwards going on the pitch on a Saturday knowing that he's going to be snapping around their ankles, I think, and some of them wouldn't have fancied it. Now, it was his eyes. He had that look. I've got a picture here. As always, we're high tech at Big Mouth Football, but can you see that look in his eye? You wouldn't fancy him marking you, would you, on a Saturday? Anyway, brilliant central defender. Again, put that into some context. 7 million in 2005. It doesn't sound a lot of money now. It was in 2005. But in the following year, 2006, Alex Ferguson signed Michael Carrick for 18.6 million from Tottenham. Now, I'm not saying Michael Carrick's a bad player. He was a brilliant player, and you know, you could argue he'd be in anybody's top 10, but you know, it just shows you what good value Nemanja was. He played from the 05-06 season to the 13-14 season, 211 appearances, 15 goals. Again, he's a defender, so we're not really interested in his goals. 149 wins and 27 losses, 95 clean sheets in those 211 appearances. So terrific player. He, again, slightly naughty on the pitch, 39 yellow cards, but compared to Rooney, that's pretty good, isn't it, really? And then the last one I've put in, number 1, to complete the 5, again, possibly a little bit controversial. Some people would say he wasn't one of the all-time best signings or all-time best strikers, but I put him in there because of his goal scoring ratio, and he really was a class act. So number 1 on the list is Robin van Persie, 24 million from Arsenal in 2012. So he played in the 2012-13 season to the 2014-15 season. I think in July 15 he went to Turkish side Fenerbahce for 3.84 million. So the one downside with him was we didn't get much from him at the end. He appeared in the Premier League, 86 appearances, 48 goals. So, you know, out of the players I mentioned, he's the one that did get a better than 1 in 2 scoring ratio. 50 wins, 17 losses. And again, he could score a number of different ways, mainly with his left foot. 31 of his goals with his left foot, 11 with his right, 6 with his head. But he did have that ability to trouble defenders right through the pitch. So there you have it, the top 5 all-time signings for Manchester United by Alex Ferguson all had a big impact on the pitch. It'd probably be interesting to do a top 10 at some point, and if I can find 5 flops in there, maybe do a 5 flops video. Thanks for watching.